Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, your number one stop for all things polling and election analysis in the United States. And today we're going to be looking at my latest forecast for the Senate. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe if you want more content just like this. And so, just a few things to point out here. Unlike most political forecasters, we take into account something called Coattails, which is essentially the drag of the presidential ticket that helps the down ballot races, and that is applied in my model for the 2024 Senate elections. Essentially, we use the polling averages and the trends from 2012 to 2018 to the present moment in order to compare and see where the trends can end up for some states and how we can predict where those states are going to go in the next presidential election. And so now we are looking at the Senate map for 2024, and Republicans are very favored to win the Senate. Looking at the 2018 Senate elections, the last time these seats were up for grabs, you have states like Montana and West Virginia, where you have Democrat incumbents. However, with Donald Trump on the ballot, it is going to be quite difficult for those incumbents to hold on, to the point where even Manchin actually dropped out of his own race, and Tester seems to be pretty much dead on arrival. Even in 2018, in a blue wave year, Republicans were able to flip back North Dakota, Missouri, and Indiana back into their column, as well as Florida, which actually netted them 2 seats in the Senate, despite it being a blue wave year. And so now with this map, you have states like Montana, Ohio, West Virginia that can easily flip to the Republicans this cycle with Donald Trump on the ballot, and is going to make it increasingly difficult for Democrats to win the Senate at this point. And so looking at the Senate map for the safe Republican states, we have Utah, Wyoming, North Dakota, both Nebraska elections, as well as Tennessee, Mississippi, and West Virginia. All of these states are going to be in the safe Republican column, according to my model, which already puts Republicans at 46 Senate seats. Looking at the Democrat seats, we have the state of California, Hawaii, Maryland, Delaware, as well as Massachusetts and Vermont. We also have, I believe it was Rhode Island, not Delaware. And that's actually about it for the safe Democrat states. That is it. Only basically 34 guaranteed seats, Republicans at 46. Maryland, a lot of people are kind of hyping up that race to be more competitive than what it'll actually be. But the same way that Donald Trump's going to help Moreno cross the finish line in Ohio is going to be the same thing that Harris does to Also Brooks. Harris is going to help Also Brooks at the top of the ticket. If this was a midterm, you may have seen a much closer result, but because this is a presidential election, you're going to see this be a safe Democrat seat. Looking for the likely Republican states, we have the state of Missouri coming in here at about almost 15 points. It's about a 14.9 percentage point victory. Looking at the state of Indiana, we also have a 14.8 percentage point victory in that state as well. Florida coming in at 6.2 percentage points for Rick Scott. Donald Trump's expected to win the state by around 10-ish points, according to my forecast. Looking at the state of Montana, this state's interesting because a lot of the polling recently has had Sheehy up by 7 or 8, but right now my forecast has it as a 13-point win. Ticket splitting in presidential years, especially with Trump on the ballot, tends to decrease. And so that's why you're seeing such massive victories for some of these states, despite the fact that the polling is significantly closer. Looking at the state of Ohio, a 7.2 percentage point victory will be categorized for Moreno. Donald Trump is expected in our forecast to win the state of Ohio by over 15. And yes, the Republican is going to run relatively lower compared to Donald Trump, but because Donald Trump is winning the state by more than most forecasters are predicting, this is why he has such an impressive victory in the state of Ohio. Including the state of Texas, Donald Trump is expected to win the state by slightly over 15 in my forecast, and Cruz is winning by 11.5 here. He only underruns Donald Trump by a couple of points. And basically, with the likely Republican states, Donald Trump already has the Senate in his column if he were to win the presidency. Republicans already have 52 Senate seats. Looking at those likely seats, we have Washington at 14.2%. We have New Mexico at around 6 points for, this Democrat senator there. We have New Jersey, about an 8-point victory for Kim. New York, about a 14-point win for Gillibrand. We have Connecticut and Delaware in the likely Democrat column, as well as a 10-point victory for Angus King in the state of Maine, and about a 10-point win for Amy Klobuchar in the state of Minnesota, as well as a 7-point victory for incumbent Senator Tim Kaine. And so filling out this map, Democrats only get to 43 Democrat seats to Republicans 52. Now, based on the results, Arizona is lean in my forecast right now. It is going to Kari Lake by 2.2%. Donald Trump is expected to win the state by a little bit over 6 points in my forecast, hence why Kari is winning the state by a point or two. If the margin is anything less than that, Kari Lake's chances of winning the Senate seat are going to be in major jeopardy. However, I do expect her to not run super behind Donald Trump, but definitely not alongside him either. And so that is why I have her winning the state by 2. Sam Brown has been polling pretty abysmally, but Donald Trump is also expected to win the state by 6 to 7 points. And because he's winning it by so much, Donald Trump barely pulls Sam Brown over the finish line in the state of Nevada. Same thing goes for Wisconsin. Donald Trump's expected to win the state by about 6 points in my forecast, and he narrowly drags Hovde across the finish line with him. So Republicans are underrunning Donald Trump by several points, not 15 points, but definitely, there is still underrunning him by a couple points in some of these districts and states. Looking at Michigan, that's in the lean Democrat column, guys. Right now, Alyssa Slotkin, it could potentially be a tilt Republican seat depending on how that looks, but my model has it as a 1.3 percentage point win for Alyssa Slotkin. Trump is winning Michigan by about 3 right now, and so that's why you kind of see that unfold. So even though it is an open seat, I guess Harris's coattails will probably help it vote to the left of a state like Wisconsin. And looking at Pennsylvania, the final state, it is a tilt Democrat state. McCormick has put up a good fight here, actually. I would have said he would have been DOA not that long ago, but he's actually been putting up quite a good of a fight in the state of Pennsylvania. And so that is pretty interesting. My forecast is 0.71 for Bob Casey. And so that is going to be an interesting race to see unfold. And so that is it for my Senate forecast. Republicans at 55 Senate seats to Democrats 45. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe if you want more content just like this. Make sure to follow me on X at onpointpolitics in all lowercase. And make sure to go ahead and comment down below because it does help out with the algorithm. And make sure to go ahead to go to betonline.com where you can also bet on all of the state margins for the Senate elections. You can also bet on who the winner is going to be. For example, Mike Rogers, the Republican, is the underdog in this race. If you were to bet about $100, you would win about $375 back on your bet for Mike Rogers. You can also see, for example, in Ohio, Bernie Moreno is also the underdog in this race as well. So something very interesting to note as of right now. Hovde is also the underwhelming, underdog in this race too. Same thing for Kari Lake as well.